Hey everybody! So today I wanted to show you how, if you're still running Windows 7 on your computer, how you can keep it secure so that you can keep using it if you want to browse the web and go do other things that you want, like buying stuff online, watching videos, maybe just going and browsing other websites that you want to see stuff and not have to worry about your Windows 7 not being secure, because I wanted to show you exactly how to do that so you can keep using it if you'd like to. So let's go over to the computer and I'm going to show you exactly what steps to take, and I'm going to even show you who the great person was who helped to make all this a whole lot easier. So let's go over and I'll show you exactly what to do. Now, as most of you know, Windows 7 is end of life, meaning it's not supposed to get security updates. However, if you know where to go, you can get security updates for Windows 7. Now, they won't automatically install. You'll have to manually install them. But I want to show you and give credit to a Reddit member, and I'm going to show you their webpage right now. They came up with a way that you can get updates for Vista 32 and 64-bit, Windows 7 32 and 64-bit, Windows 8 64-bit, and Windows 8.1 64-bit post end of life updates. So I really thought this would be helpful for you all, and I was going to show you how to get those updates and actually install them. So if you'll actually scroll down just a little bit, it'll show you everything that you can get updates for. And the repository is right here. So all we have to do is click on it, and it's going to open up a page. Now you may have to log in with a Microsoft account. And if I do, I'll go ahead and log in, and then I'll show you the next steps. But then, as you can see, it shows you the Windows that you want to download. So I'm going to show you Windows 7 right here, but you could do it for Windows 8.0, Windows 8.1, or even Windows Vista. Now, you would obviously need to know if you have the 64-bit version or the 32-bit version. So as soon as you figure out which version you have, what you're going to do, this is the easiest way, okay, is I'm going to go over here. I'm running the 64-bit version. So I'm going to just put a check mark right here, and then I'm going to click on download. Now that's going to take, I would think, quite a few minutes for it to download all the data from that one folder. And I do want to let you know this person continues to update this repository. That way, each month, if you'll go back in, they've downloaded all the new updates. And you don't have to re-download this entire folder again. Watch. I'm going to let this keep on downloading up here. But if I'll go ahead and go into the folder, if it'll let me, there we go. You're going to be able to see that there's folders for every single month. So as you can see, the very first one, we have to install this Bypass ESU update. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Then what you would do is you would go into folder number 2. You would install all those updates. Then you would go into folder number 3, install all those updates, and so on and so forth. And as you notice, the very last one that's up there, as of the time of me recording it, is the 13th one, which is from January 2024. Now, we're in February at the moment. So they'll eventually create a number 14 folder and name it February 2024. But they'll continue to do this until they no longer provide even post end of life updates for Windows 7. So continue to go back to this every single month and download that new folder so you can keep installing those updates and stay secure. But let's see how this is doing. It looks like it's taking a little while to download this, but it's going fairly quick. I think it's around 1.1, 1.2 gigabytes, so it's going to take it a few minutes to download. But once it finishes downloading, I'll show you exactly what steps we need to take in order to get this installed on your Windows 7 computer so that you can stay secure. And I'm also going to make a video showing you how to do it on Vista, Windows 8.0, and Windows 8.1. So that way, if anybody has one of those versions, they can do the same thing and stay secure while they're surfing the web on these older machines. So let's let that finish and I'll show you exactly what steps to take. Okay, so the file just finished downloading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to minimize the browser. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click on my File Explorer. And then I'm going to go into my Downloads folder where it downloaded that file. So here's my Downloads folder. And then the very newest one, which is right here, it says OneDrive. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extract this. And then again, you can change it to anything you want. I'm going to call it something different than OneDrive 2024-2-10. I'm going to call it Windows 7 Post-EOL Updates. Now it's going to put it in that folder for me, and then we're going to go through and we're going to take all the steps to install all those updates. Now I'm not going to do every single one, because once I do a folder or two, you're going to have the hang of it, and you're just going to go folder by folder by folder installing all the updates. And there are a couple of folders where you'll have to go directly to Microsoft's website to download it. And I understand the person who put it up there, I think the person is Ella, didn't want to have to upload a really large file. So instead of uploading those really large files, they just put a link to it so that you could go and download it yourself. Once you've downloaded it, you can install that big update. So let's let this expand, and that way we can go ahead and install those updates and get this Windows 7 secure. And hopefully you'll get yours secure too if you follow all these steps. Now I also wanted to let you know that I'm doing this in a virtual machine. But I will be doing these same exact steps on all the Windows 7 machines that I have, just to keep them secure as well. Now you can do this for Vista as well, because as you notice, there was Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8.0, and Windows 8.1. So you can do this for any of those, but I'm going to create separate videos for those other operating systems. Okay, so it just finished expanding the zip folder, and it put it into that Windows 7 Post EOL Updates folder that I wanted it to create. So right here, if you'll notice, I have the Windows 7 x64 folder, which was the one that I downloaded. So if I go into it, right here it has the README instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and open those so that we can walk through it and do each step. Okay, so the person typed up a little document basically saying they're not responsible for anything that happens to your computer, so please don't blame them. The first thing they want you to do is to go ahead and install all available updates in Windows Update. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to check to see if there's any more updates that are waiting on this computer. So I'm going to go to all programs and go to Windows Update, and then once that opens, I'll see if there are any more that are waiting. And I think there are just one or two, but we'll just check it real quick. Oh, there's 4. So I'll go ahead and I'll install those updates really quick. Now what they do want you to do after that gets finished is they want you to make sure there's no updates left at all. So after I install those updates, they want you to check again. If there's more updates, install those until you keep checking and no more updates show up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and go into the 1-bypass ESU V12, and there's going to be a file in there that we're going to run. So let's give it just a minute to finish these updates. We'll restart, and then we'll do that to check to see if there's any more updates, and then we'll install that version 1, or I should say file that's in folder number 1. Okay, so it just finished installing those updates. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out of everything, including that web page where we had downloaded the repository and where they were talking about the Windows 7 post end of life updates from Reddit. So I'm going to close both of those, and then I'm going to go ahead and restart the computer, and we'll check for more updates. So now I'm going to go ahead and restart. Okay, so now that the Windows is back up, I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what they recommended, which is I'm going to open up Windows Update again and see if there's any more updates that are waiting. Now, if it comes up and it says there's no updates, that doesn't mean, right, see it says Windows is up to date. I'm going to go ahead and click on check for updates, and that's going to recheck to see if there's any more updates left for Windows 7. And then at that point, if no more updates come up, then we can go ahead and start on folder number 1. So let's give it just a moment, and if nothing comes up, then we'll get started on folder 1. Great news! It came back and it said Windows is up to date. So we can go ahead and close out of the Windows update, and then we can go back down to the File Explorer, and then we can go back to the downloads into the Windows 7 Post EOL Updates folder, and then there's our Windows 7 x64 folder. So I'm going to go into it, and then here is that zip file. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extract that zip file so that we can go in and install the actual program that'll let us install all these post end of life updates. So it should only take a minute or so just to expand that, and then we'll install the updates. Okay, so we're going to go into the bypass ESU-V12_U, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the README, because it's going to tell us which one of these we want to run. So they suggest that after we do it, we're going to run the live OS setup command as administrator. So what you have to do, it's this one. You have to right click and run as administrator. Now it won't work if you don't do it as administrator. They even put that in the document. So I'm going to go ahead and click yes if it asks you want to make changes. Okay, now here you want to select option number 1, and it's going to install the full thing. The ESU suppressor, the WU ESU patcher, and the .NET 4 ESU bypass. So you want to install all 3 of those. Alright, so it looks like mine's already finished, so I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And then now it says after it's done, you need to restart your computer, and afterwards open Windows Update, check to see if there's any more updates, install them, keep repeating until there's no more updates, and then afterwards we're going to go and we're going to start into the folders. So we're going to go back here, and we would actually start with the second folder, which is February 2023. But we have to restart really quick and then check for updates first. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so again, I'm going to go and check for Windows updates. So I'm just going to go to Start, All Programs, and I'm going to click on Windows Update again. And then they want me to go and click on the Check for Updates button and see if anything comes up. Now there may be a few that show up. If they do, we'll go ahead and install them. and then we'll go ahead and start on those folders. And I'm going to show you how to do a couple of them, and then you can keep on going through each folder. And I'm going to show you one folder where you actually have to go and you have to download the file yourself, and then once you download it, you would install it. But you want to do each folder in succession. So you want to do the February 2023, then you'd want to do March, then April, then May, then June, and so on and so forth. But they made it easy because they gave you the numbers. So you just start with folder 2, which is February 2023, then 3, which is March, and then 4, and so on. So my computer actually did find a couple of updates. So I'm going to go ahead and install those 2 updates. Now, if yours comes up with any updates, you'll want to install those too. But you just want to keep installing the updates until there's no more available. So we'll let that go ahead and download and install. And then I'm going to go ahead and restart the computer. And then when it comes back up, I'm going to check for updates again. And then we'll get started back on the folders. So I'll be right back in just a minute. So the computer just came back up from me restarting it, installing those couple of updates. So I'm going to go back to the Windows update and check to see if there's any more updates. There's one more, so I'm going to install that one as well. And then, of course, I'll restart one more time, and then we'll check to see if there's any more. They want you to install all the updates until you start doing those other post end-of-life updates. So let me get this one installed, and then we'll be right back again. Okay, so that one installed really quick. So I'm going to go ahead and check to see if there's any more updates for the computer. If there's not, then we're going to go ahead and start on that second folder, which is the one that was February 2023. So let's give it just a second to see if there's any updates. Hopefully we're done with the updates at this point, and we can do the post end of life updates for Windows 7. So it found a few more updates. I'm sorry guys. Let me get these updates installed and restart it one more time, and then I'll check for updates again. And if no more updates come up, then we're good to go. But I'm going to go ahead and keep installing all these updates until all of them are installed, so we don't have to keep going and checking and install the next set, check again, install the next set. So I'll just install all the updates that are available until it says no more updates are available for this computer, and then we can go back and start with those folders. So just give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, so Windows just came back and said that it's completely up to date. So I can go ahead and close out of the Windows Update program. And now I can go back to File Explorer. And then I'm going to go back to the Downloads folder. And I'm going to go to the Windows 7 Post End of Life Updates folder. And the Windows 7 folder inside of that. Now I can go in and I can go to the number 2 folder, since we've already gotten the number 1 folder installed, and then we restarted, and then we did all the Windows updates. Now I can finally do the folder number 2. Now inside folder number 2, and this will be the same for folder 3, 4, 5, you may have one file or you may have multiple files. If you have multiple files, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to install the first one, and then we have to stop the Windows Update service and restart it, and then we can install the second one, and then you'll have to stop the update service and then start it again, and then do the third one, and so on and so forth. And the reason is because every time you install one of those updates, for some reason it breaks the Windows Update service, so you have to stop it and restart it. But it's very simple to do, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to install this first one. So I'm going to double click on it, and then it's going to search for updates. Well, in just a moment it's going to say, do you want to install? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and install that update. So it'll take it just a minute to install, and then we'll go into the services and we'll stop the Windows Update service and we'll start it again. So let's give it just a moment. Okay, so as you can see, that first security update just finished installing. So we're going to go ahead and click close. And now I'm going to come over here to start, and I'm going to start typing in services. And then it's going to be this second one right here that looks like it has a little gear beside it. We're going to go ahead and open services. So I'm going to go ahead and make the services window a little bit bigger just by dragging the corner and making it bigger. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to look for Windows Update. Now you can change the width. If you go right beside name and description, you can see it turns to a double arrow. And you can click and just drag it over, and that'll help you to find the Windows Update if it's really small. And so I'm going to click right here on Windows Update, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to wait for it to stop, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to right click on it again, and I'm going to start it. So here we go. I'm going to start it, and then as soon as that finishes, now I can go back over here to the folder, and now I'm going to do the second one. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install it. And what happens is, if you don't do that, see how it says searching for updates on this computer? It would just sit there and keep searching for updates. It would never prompt you, do you want to install this update? It would just keep searching for updates. So that's why we stop the Windows Update service and we start it back up again. But we're going to go ahead and let that one finish. And then I'm going to stop it and start the Windows Update service again. And I'm going to do that third update. Now, I would recommend after you do each folder, you go ahead and restart the computer. And then so we'll be finished with the second folder here in just a moment. And then restart the computer. And then you would start on the third folder. And then, of course, after the third, restart the computer and do the fourth folder. But that's going to help you just to make sure the computer keeps working after you install just a group of these updates. So if you have a problem, you can go and uninstall those updates that you just put on there to get your computer back and working. So that second one took longer to finish than that first one did, but it was also a bigger update. So now it wants me to restart the computer, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it to close and not restart now. And then I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to stop the Windows Update. And then as soon as it stops, I'm going to start it again, just like we did previously. And then I'm going to go ahead and install this third one. And then I'm going to go ahead and restart. That way you can get all three of those done, restart, and if everything's good, then you know that those three updates were good. It just helps you to keep track of which ones caused the problem. If you install an update and restart and there's an issue, you can uninstall that update. So again, I'm going to go ahead and install this one, and then I'll go ahead and restart after that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and restart the computer, and when it comes back up, we'll take a look at some of the other folders. And so if you have a folder that has multiple files, just like that second folder did for February 2023, you would go ahead and you would install it just the same way I did. Install one update, stop the Windows Update service, start it again, install the second update, stop the Windows Update service, start it again, and continue on until you get all the updates installed. Now, you are going to encounter some folders where you'll have to go and manually download the update. But it should be fairly simple. And then I'm going to show you one of those so that you can go find the file, and then you would install it just like you have all these others. And then when you get to the very end, you're done. And your Windows 7 will be secure. So as soon as it comes back up, I'm going to show you that. Okay, so if we go back into that same folder, in the downloads folder, Windows 7, post end of life updates, and then Windows 7, I'm going to look, I think it's one of these folders, like maybe the 4th or 5th, maybe a little bit further. Okay, so I stand corrected. It looks like all the updates are in these 13 folders as of right now. But if there's one that is really big, they'll probably include a link for you to go and download that so that they don't have to put that big 6, 7, 800 megabyte file into these folders and then compress it, because it would use a lot of space on their server. So basically just go down each folder and install it just like we did with the number 2 folder, and you'll be good and you'll have all your security updates. So I really hope that was helpful on how you can keep your Windows 7 still secure even after end of life. So we can go ahead and keep using it as long as you manually install those post end of life updates. If you do have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. I'll be more than happy to get back to you about those. And if there's a video that you would like me to create for you, please let me know that below in the comments as well. And as always, because you all do such a great job, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep putting up more great content like this and how to keep all your Windows secure. And I really appreciate you guys. God bless you. Take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.